How does righteousness shape your destiny? Life is filled with crossroads, moments when we must choose between truth and compromise, integrity and convenience. What we choose shapes not only our character, but the course of our lives. Imagine standing at such a crossroads. One path leads to a vibrant sunrise, filled with peace and purpose. The other fades into shadows of regret and uncertainty. Which path will you take? Today, we'll explore how living in righteousness aligns us with God's will and sets us on the path to true fulfillment. Righteousness is living a life aligned with truth, integrity, and God's moral principles. It's not about being perfect, but about striving to follow God's will in everything we do. Jesus tells us in Matthew 5-6, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." This hunger for righteousness is a longing to live in alignment with God's heart, to reflect His truth in our actions and decisions. Righteousness is the foundation of a life that honors God. It's choosing what is right over what is easy, standing firm in faith when the world encourages compromise, and aligning our actions with God's teachings even when it's uncomfortable. God's moral laws aren't restrictive. They're a guide to living in harmony with ourselves, others, and Him. Let's consider some examples. Honesty. In Exodus 20:16, we're told, "You shall not bear false witness." Honesty builds trust and strengthens relationships, reflecting God's unwavering truth. Justice. Micah 6-8 calls us to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Justice ensures fairness and compassion in our interactions with others. Respect. Exodus 20:12 reminds us to honor your father and mother. Respecting authority and valuing others creates harmony in families and communities. These principles are not just rules. They're pathways to a life of peace and purpose, aligning us with God's design for His creation. So how do we live out righteousness in our daily lives? It begins with humility, acknowledging God's sovereignty and our dependence on His wisdom. From there, we can take practical steps. Speak truthfully, even when it's uncomfortable. Truth builds trust and reflects God's character. Stand up for others. Address injustice by offering help or advocating for fairness in your community. Follow through on your commitments. Avoid cutting corners, whether at work or in relationships. Integrity means doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Every choice we make shapes our character and aligns or misaligns us with God's plan. Think of a moment when you chose honesty over convenience, like returning extra change from a cashier, or when you resisted peer pressure to compromise your values for social or professional gain. These small daily decisions are like bricks building the foundation of a righteous life. Proverbs 11:3 tells us, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." Walking in integrity keeps us aligned with God's will, but compromise leads to internal guilt, loss of trust, and distance from Him. Compromise may seem easier in the moment, but it comes at a cost. Consider King Saul, who lost his kingdom due to disobedience and self-interest, 1 Samuel 15. Compromise cost him not just his throne, but his closeness to God. In contrast, consider Joseph, who rose to prominence in Egypt because of his unwavering integrity. Despite being betrayed, falsely accused, and imprisoned, Joseph remained faithful to God's principles. And in time, God elevated him to a position of great influence and purpose. Genesis 39-41. The rewards of righteousness are profound peace of mind, stronger relationships, and divine favor. Righteousness shapes us into the people God created us to be, aligning our lives with His greater purpose. Here's your challenge. Commit to making one choice this week that aligns with integrity. Take a moment to reflect. Where in your life are you tempted to compromise? Is it a difficult conversation, a work decision, or a relationship conflict? Write it down and pray for the courage to act with honesty and righteousness. Remember, every choice matters. Small acts of integrity build a life of purpose and honor. Share your journey in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else to choose the path of righteousness. What does righteousness mean to you? How do your daily choices reflect your values and your alignment with God's will? Let's take a moment to pray. Lord, guide us in your truth. Help us to live with integrity, to stand firm in your principles, and to honor you in every decision we make. Teach us to walk humbly, love mercy, and act justly, so that our lives may reflect your glory. Amen. Righteousness isn't just about big decisions. It's about the small, daily choices that shape our character and destiny. When we live in truth and integrity, we align ourselves with God's will and open the door to His blessings. Next time, we'll explore spiritual growth, how expanding our consciousness deepens our connection with God and brings us closer to fulfilling our divine purpose. See you then.